Welcome back to BetRacingNation here on Sports Night Live. Just to add, we had Johnny Murtagh on a couple of weeks ago. We asked him, what is your best bet of Cheltenham? Do you know what he said? Wicklow Brave, first day. So that's 6 or 7 to 1. I don't think it jumps that great, but he was very impressed with the last victory back in Ireland. Before we move on to the Irish contingent on the first day, let's go over to Sam for more picks from the audience on the first day and that Supreme Hurdle.
Yeah, with a lot of you seem to be Team Willie Mullins, but just not sure who's going to come home in front. I actually think Wicklow Brave seems to be most of your picks. It seems to be edging in front. Conor Claxton says Wicklow Brave, thinks it's going to be a 1-2 for Willie with the Liquidator back in third. Irvin won't get out of the hill. And then Andrew Ashcroft responded by saying, Irvin all day long, seen someone tweet he doesn't get out of the hill, nothing's got it off the bridle in his 4 races, and it's a superstar in the making, which would be great to see for Paul Nicholls, because I think he does need some ammunition at that level. It'd be good to see. We're moving on shortly. We've got Michelle on the phone who's going to discuss the Irish chances. Get your Irish chance in, but let's just pretend whatever you back for the Supreme, you just had the winner of it. Where are we going to put your money now? I want your picks for the Champion Hurdle and for the Arkle as well. I'll hand you back over to Peter.
Thanks very much indeed. And we will now connect to Ireland, Tipperary, I believe. Michelle Kinane.
Hello.
Hello, Michelle. It is Tipperary, isn't it? And what's the weather like? I bet it's the first sign of spring, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's lovely weather, actually.
OK, well, I've got a few match bets going on some Irish runners, and we'll talk about how it can fly soon. I don't think it's going to win. We're going to have a little, I'm sure we're going to have a bit of banter on that, but we've just been talking about the Supreme. Vitor, Wicklow Brave, which one of those two do you prefer?
I think Vitor is probably one of our best anyway. Obviously, the way he beat the Tullow Tank last time out, you know, fairly easily at Leopardstown, and the Tullow Tank was a dual Grade 1 winner. And obviously the way he beat him was pretty impressive. He's by Robin Deschamps, who obviously Willie Mullins has had a great record with Quevega, Sire Deschamps, so he's definitely one of our best bets, I think, and he looks pretty good. We also have Wicklow Brave, another one from the Willie Mullins team. Now, he was a listed winner last time out. For me, he doesn't have the experience at the top class level. That is a bit of a worry for me. But the way he won his listed was pretty impressive, and I know a lot of people fancy him a lot. So, you know, I think Willie Mullins should have a good record with this race. I think it could be a Mullins horse here.
And do you fear Irvin? Do you think that the tick will be first for Ireland in the first race then? You're going to put a tick by that first race?
Sorry?
I said, are you going to put a tick by the first race? Do you think it's going to be Ireland 1-0 up after the first race?
I think it could be, yeah. We have a pretty strong hand, even though I must say Paul Nicholls has a fairly good horse in Irving. Of course, he won the Grade 2 hurdle there at Kempton last time out, but he doesn't have experience at Grade 1 level. But he's obviously looks a good horse, so we'll see how that goes. But I think Willie Mullins has a fairly decent shot at this. OK, well, let's move on to the Arkle, where I've got a strong Irish fancy in the Arkle, but it's not Champagne Fever. But what's your view? Mine's Trifolium, Michelle. Tell me I'm right. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I really like Trifolium. He's got he was third in the Supreme Novices there to Cinders and Ashes on good to soft ground, which the ground is described to be for next week. So, you know, he has the experience of Cheltenham, and I think, you know, the way he won the Irish Arkle as well was pretty impressive. Obviously, Champagne Fever, he's got the record for Cheltenham, 100%, 2 runs, 2 wins. He's currently the favourite. But yeah, I think Trifolium is a good each-way bet. OK, well, I'm going to go over to Sam, because he's had a bet on Champagne Fever. He was dying to ask you a question. So let's go over to Sam.
Michelle, a couple of things really about Champagne Fever. I've got this mad match bet with Peter where whoever loses, I've said Champagne Fever will win. He said he won't. If Champagne Fever wins, Peter's dressing up as a jockey for the show. Unfortunately, if Champagne Fever somehow manages to lose that perfect Cheltenham record, I have to. Do you think if Trifolium was trained by Willie Mullins, that Trifolium would be the favourite? Do you think that's the reason Champagne Fever is the favourite, effectively?
Yeah, I'd say it would. If he was with Willie Mullins, I think it would make a huge difference. But I mean, when you look at the record Trifolium's trainer Charles Burns has at Cheltenham, it's phenomenal. So you definitely have to consider him as a likely candidate. Rock on Ruby as well. I mean, I wasn't too impressed with his chasing debut. I thought he could have done better. I think it was his jumping. And he's obviously taken a big step up in trip, but he obviously loves Cheltenham. So, but I do think that Trifolium is a real decent bet for this race.
Okay, well, you are going to be on the phone with us on Tuesday or Wednesday night, but I also want to focus on the first day, and another one that I think will get beat, I'm afraid, Michelle, is Hurricane Fly.
Oh, I have to disagree.
Come on then. Tell me why.
I think he's phenomenal. Do you know, when you look back at 2012, I mean, he only had his debut in the Irish Champion Hurdle, and I know he won that fairly easy, but Willie Mullins always said he wasn't right that year. He came back last year with a perfect record, won at Cheltenham, and this year he's had the pretty same, races, and he's going there with 100% fitness. Obviously, the Irish Champion Hurdle was a great race to watch. Connor really put it up to him, and he's obviously in the Champion Hurdle as well. But no, I can't see Pat's Hurricane Fly. I really hope he does it on Tuesday.
The reason why I question the form this year is I looked at that race last time, and Captain CB, who was, he's been supplemented for the race, obviously, to ensure good pace, was literally probably 4 lengths behind Hurricane Fly. It was run in a way that, no pace at all. Are you seriously thinking at the age of 11 that Hurricane Fly can win the Champion Hurdle?
Yeah, 100%. I've always been a huge fan of his. I just think he's such a classy horse, and the way when our Connor came at him in the Irish Champion Hurdle, he just kept finding more and more. And plus, Ruby Walsh said earlier in the week that it was in fact the way he rode Hurricane Fly. He hasn't been able to show his best form in England. So he said that whatever way he's going to ride him this year, he said he should show England what he's been showing in Ireland, so I hope he does.
and we had Willie Mullins on here, and he sort of really sort of damned us when we mentioned the new one and My Tent or Yours, and very confident on Hurricane Fly. Before you go, Michelle, if I gave you a virtual £50, I'm waving it in the air, there's nothing in my hand, but if I was, on the first day, which horse would you put that £50 on? Which Irish horse would you put that money on?
Oh, that's a hard question.
I know.
I'd love to say Hurricane Fly, but he's obviously really up against it. So maybe Quevega.
Okay, so you'll play safe with Quevega, and just to make £40 back.
Quevega, it's a Grade 2 hurdle race. I think she's a top class mare, and I hope she does the 6 out of 6. But I'm kind of stuck between Hurricane Fly and Quevega, but I think I'd go with Quevega just for the safest.
Very quickly, Billy, because we've got to go to a break.
Very quickly, Michelle, do you think Quevega could have won a world hurdle this year, maybe?
I think she could win any race that she wants, but obviously, he's got any power in there, and I'm so excited to see her up against Big Bucks. Obviously, it was a disappointment to see Big Bucks lose his perfect record over hurdles, but I think he should be right. He should be right for Cheltenham, but any power is a serious opponent, and obviously you've got Ruler of the World there as well. So that's obviously a race to favour.
Okay, well, we're going to be speaking to you during the course of the week, so we can touch on those races. Thank you very much indeed, Michelle, and we very much look forward to day one at Cheltenham. We are going to be back after the break. We're going to give our own view on the Arkle Champion Hurdle.